Hey y'all, it's Ronnie J, host of Navigating Life After 40. And as always, I hope each of you are doing well. Guess what? We are at the end of 2024. Can you believe it? Can you believe tomorrow is actually 2025, the start of a new year? 2024 has been an amazing year for my podcast. And I want to start off by thanking each of you who have tuned in to listen and or watch the episodes on YouTube. From our growing, incredible community of listeners to diving into some truly impactful conversations, I'm so grateful for the support you've shown throughout the year. Because it was such an amazing year, I thought I would share my top 5 favorite episodes of this year. I initially wanted to do my top 10, but figured I'd start with the top 5 first. These episodes were voted on by you, the listeners, based on stats, but also ones that I found to be some of my favorites, I would say. So let's kick things off with number 5, Navigating Motherhood After 40 with guest Coach Ree. During this episode, she shares some amazing tips for busy moms, as well as her own journey with having her last child at the age of 40. Can you believe that, y'all? At the age of 40. I know that there are so many women who are still raising kids during midlife or desire to have children at this stage. So check out this episode on any of the audio podcast platforms or on YouTube. If you missed this one, I promise you, it's definitely worth revisiting. Now, let's move into number 4, and that is Midlife Fashion and Style with Jennifer Nataf. If you know my journey, then you know how much I absolutely love fashion, and I know there are a lot of fashion girlies out there too. This episode was so much fun. It felt like I was really talking to a girlfriend about all of the latest trends, but most importantly, there were lessons for women on how to dress for their body type. Because as we know, our bodies change as we go through menopause. But if you love style, check out this episode. It's one you'll want to take notes on. Trust me. Coming in at number 3 is an episode that really hit home for so many of you, and that is called Are You Thriving or Surviving? This was a solo episode I did where I talked about being truly fulfilled or going through the motions in life. I shared examples of many women from Oprah to Vera Wang, just to name a few, who found their calling during midlife and have also been successful ever since. If you are struggling to figure out your next, check out this episode. It's a personal one for me, and I hope it inspires you too. Moving on to number 2. This episode was packed with so much wisdom, so many light bulb moments, and that is mindful aging, cultivating presence and acceptance as we get older. The guest for this episode was Candace Denise. She discussed y'all so much, and it was amazing. From things like reframing the narrative around aging and eliminating comparisons. She also highlighted the ongoing need for self-care and self-compassion, and that's just a few things that I can name. This was a very enlightening episode for me and one of my top 3 faves of this year. Candace, listen, if you're watching this, you left me with a fresh perspective, and I think you'll feel the same after listening. Finally, coming in at number 1. Listen, this is one of those episodes that continues to inspire me every time I think about it. And I do mean every single time I think about it. And number 1 is RX for Dreams, Unveiling Resilience. Whenever I need a reminder that I'm never too old to follow my dreams, or I'm being a bit tough on myself, I tune into this episode. Dr. Regine Russo Abrams is absolutely amazing. She shares her journey to returning to medical school during midlife, challenges that she faced along the way, and how she overcame them. And when I tell you she dropped gem after gem in this episode, I'm telling you, chef's kiss. telling you. My favorite part that I keep with me is a quote that she shared, which is, don't let the dream die inside of you. If you absolutely believe that it is not possible for you to follow your dreams during midlife, or if you are on the path but having a hard day, even if you're not, I'm just going to say, even if you're not, tune into this episode anyway, because it will have you ready to dive into your next. I promise you. I promise you, you'll be ready and you will be so inspired to do so. Guess what, y'all? I could not wrap up this thing without throwing in a little bit of a bonus episode for you guys. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it. You know, I always got to throw in one extra one. Although this episode, of course, wasn't released in 2024, I did, re-release it as a rewind episode. And the title of this episode is called Second Act, Finding Your Purpose After 40. I highly, highly encourage you to listen to this episode before the previous one that I mentioned with Dr. Russo Abrams. Dr. Nick in this episode dropped some amazing gems about what women face when we're contemplating the second act in life, and of course, how to overcome them all. And guess what, y'all? She also came back recently for another episode, and I can't wait for you all to hear it. This one, I would say this episode with Dr. Nick, it's like a foundational listen, but it's perfect if you're really gearing up to make some big changes in your life. That is it for me, guys, for the top 5 episodes of 2024. As I mentioned earlier, I have 10, but I wanted to start with 5. However, if you would like to hear the next 5, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to drop another video for you. Also, guys, I want to just say once again, thank you so much for tuning in and going on this journey with me. As I always say, we are figuring this midlife thing out together. And I promise you, I cannot wait to continue to ride with you. Let me know in the comments or send me a DM which episode was your favorite or what you like to see more of in 2025. Cheers to an amazing, abundant, overly blessed 2025, and I will see you guys soon. Have a good one.